into the call-ups. As we'll go through some of the kind of there's some I feel like that are just kind of layups at this point. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
You're
nice
like
to see
Yukon
Lynn
to
back.
South Korea.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll go through the layups. Like Jordan Heidema with Canada has and sorry. Uh, really quickly. I don't know when do we figure out about Lily Woodham? Because I believe her Crystal Palace season is over. Is it the same sort of timeline as end of June? Because I feel like when we got the first the like regular season finalized roster, it said both of them are end of June.
Yeah, that's sort of a general, like a typical timeline for loans. My guess is they're just currently trying to find a team to either buy her contract or another loan for her. I just don't think that
She's coming back.
I'd be very surprised to see her come back.
Yeah.
Um, you know, especially with Sophia and Ryan Brown coming back, and the group that you already have,
The group that you already have,
it
yes.
has been doing really well. I don't think there's anyone that she overtakes. You simply don't have the space for her, and it's not like the group that you have is old either, right? Like the oldest is
No.
Lou, the next oldest is Phoebe, and then everyone else is like 25 or younger,
Yeah.
right? They're all very young, so there's no reason to be like, oh, we need to move on from this player and focus on Lily's development or something. I can't claim to have watched a ton of Crystal Palace, but they weren't good as a whole. Um, and I don't, I'm not sure how much having played in the WSL would have helped her readjust to the NWSL. I just, more than anything, I just don't think there's space.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's the big holdup.
so I think there will, in a month or so, hear something about another loan or a permanent transfer like we did with Luani.
Luani, yes.
Right, because she was playing overseas and they decided that that was the best thing for her. um so I think, Leslie, tell me if I'm wrong, but my guess is that Leslie is in conversation with other teams, and trying to figure out some solution that is best for her and the team, because they are, they're very committed to the players that they sign at any point in time, and they're always going to try and find the best solution for them and the team. They're not going to throw someone under the bus and be shitty about it. So I assume that they're taking their time to find something that works for both parties.
Hey, Luani in 19 La Liga F games, um, 4 goals, 4 assists. Good for you. Good for
Yeah,
you. That was a name I had forgotten. Nice shout.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Justin has to Wales. Sorry, looking at Wales, who did I think of
Mhm.
was Lily Woodham? So that's what helped me remember that. Yeah, G, um, with Korea, yeah, Anna Maria with Switzerland. Like, these are a bunch of Coco, yeah, with Haiti, like a bunch of slam dunks. Obviously some of the biggest one and one that we talked about at length was Claudia and Claudia Saw was Claudia Dickey being named to the US Women's National Team roster. And a lot of folks were also excited to see Lynn Biondolo back with the US after I believe she missed a little did she miss previous camps?
She had
Injury?
missed the last camp from the injury she picked up like right before the season started.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So that and then the group of children um
Yes.
this is factual information. I'm not being a dickhead. I just generally am a dickhead. U23 US team will feature Maddie Darlene, Jordan Bugg, Emily Mason, and Sam Meza. You want to talk about, the defenders and, that group being younger. Emily Mason is kind of one of the names that I think of with that because, I mean, early on in some of the earlier matches, they trusted her with decent minutes, not a ton. I think she did make a start though.
I yeah, I want to say she started against North Carolina.
I'll find out in
Um,
1 second.
it was because other players were
Yep.
injured. I will say Mason was the name that surprised me the most, just because she hasn't played a ton recently.
Oh.
Not that I don't think she's not deserving. I'm just curious what Emma Hayes watched and was like just in terms of like there's not a ton to watch because she hasn't played a ton.
Yeah.
And I feel like pretty much all of the other players on that list, Maddie is the only rookie or is one of like four rookies this season to have started every game. Jordan Bug has started every single game. Sam Meza has been just out of this world the past 5-6 games. I think they're all very deserving, but I was surprised to see Emily Mason, and I'm um, just because there are a lot of U23 players in the NWSL, and also
Mhm.
I believe there are 5 players on the roster who are older than 23.
Oh,
Because there's a certain number of players over the age that you can include, and I don't totally remember how that works, but I do remember seeing that. Um, so I'm I'm interested. I think it's just a great opportunity for her. So excited, that she gets to train with that U23 team, and I love it. I think Jordan Bug has sort of been in the U.S. youth national team conversation for a while. Obviously, she won the U17 World Cup with Emery and Maddie already. Um, or sorry, U20 World Cup. Why did I say U17? My God, U20.
it was like that seems young.
Yeah, no, like she could have been on the U17 squad, but it was the
Wasn't
U21.
it the one you specifically like? I watched this one.
I did.
Yep.
Um, so that one's not surprising to me. Maddie's form again, not surprising. Sam is the one where I think her NWSL performances have played her into that position. Um, because you watch her on the field, and she is an absolute top player. So I'm super excited to see that for Sam Meza. I think she is so deserving of it, for how big she has come up for this team. I mean, Jess Fishlock is a small person, but those are massive shoes to fill. Like that is a legend of the city, of the game, of soccer, of Wales. I mean, everything. And that was a really tough position she came into, and she has exceeded expectations, and set even higher expectations for herself every single game. And outside of the Houston game where everyone looked kind of off, she has been fantastic. And even in the Houston game, she still had a lot of good plays, and played really important defense. So it's exciting to see that NWSL performances do matter when it comes to U.S. Women's National Team call-ups, whether it's the senior or a youth team. And it's not just a camp, right? They actually get to play some games. Um, so I'm so so thrilled for her. Honestly, I think she is so deserving of it. Again, part of why I'm curious to see what happens when Jess comes back, because she has really stepped up to fill that role, and her performances are not going to be easy ones to just take away. Um, so yeah, surprised by Emily Mason, but really excited for her. We talked about Claudia last week. She is so deserving of this. I think the quote I saw from Emma is that, like, the stats don't lie. She is one of the best goalkeepers in the NWSL right now. And I was like, yes, that's freaking right. Laura knew it. We knew it. We all knew it.
Legitimately was almost verbatim. The data
Yeah.
don't lie. Claudia
Yeah.
Dickey is probably the best performing goalkeeper in the NWSL this season. I saw that. I was like, hey,
She
yes.
is. She's been absolutely fantastic. And Lynn, I think, is an automatic call up at this point in her career. But it's still, it's good to see her be with that team, especially because she was overlooked by the U.S. Women's National Team for so long. It's always nice to see her continue to get those call ups, and be recognized as sort of an important veteran on that team, and someone who can impact a game defensively and offensively. Um, so I didn't know we were getting a U23 list. So it was fun to like see, oh, there are 4 more players that are leaving for the international break. I'm great that everyone's going to come back exhausted, especially because I think they're flying to Germany, so that's lovely. Um,
Laura's probably pissed about that. Like, happy for her players, but like,
yeah,
shit.
but like, oh, do I really have to have so many players fly to Europe? There's a lot of players flying to
Wait, so
Europe.
how many players are gonna be? What's the
I
what's the roster size?
It's like 26,
So you're
27.
almost losing like half of your group in a
It is
way.
nearly half your group, yes.
Jesus Christ.
So it'll be a lot of small training sessions for them for a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but you know, I, I'm really hoping that we see Claudia's U.S. Women's National Team debut. Obviously, she was called into camp before, but didn't actually get to play. Um, so I hope that not only do her performances earn her that call up, but they earn her that first cap and let her show her stuff. Because people who haven't watched the Reign, maybe it's not a name but Laura is 100% correct. She has every talent and ability to become the next #1 goalkeeper for the U.S. Women's National Team, and that's that's why they drafted her. That's why they've put so much time and effort and wanted to keep her. They're not stupid. They knew what they were doing. They knew the potential that was there, and she is and she still has further to go, and that's the great thing. Like, that's what you want to see, is players with 2 years to a World Cup, and they still can get better, and they're already playing great. So really just excited for all of them, honestly.
Can we sign her to another extension? Can they
I know. I am like, Leslie, when are we gonna get some more extensions? Hello.
Leslie, I had to look up that contract. I was like, how long is she?
When did she sign through?
This year.
Yeah.
If I can tell properly. It's tough with some of these. Like, again, some leagues, it's a lot easier to look at that. Let Claudia cook. I need actual clause here.
We
don't have.
do need that.
We need the clause. We'll figure it out.
Someone
Get Laura
okay.
soundboard. Claudia clause. Yeah, you kind of.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey. Where are you going to watch all the away games for Seattle Reign FC this year?
For away games? Well, since Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, I was thinking of coming here if that's okay with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. See y'all here.